Ukraine and for the United States. Bringing in now Daniel Halper, online editor for the Weekly Standard. Good to see you, Daniel.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you. So a forceful start, if you will. What's the first thing Poroshenko must do to regain power and control of Ukraine?
Well, things, as you know, haven't been going so well in Ukraine for the last 6 months. The last president was effectively deposed, and Russia continues to occupy parts of Ukraine. So I think the first step is obviously to try to brush Russia a little bit off Ukraine's back, which President Poroshenko ran into Vladimir Putin yesterday in France, and they apparently talked about a ceasefire. I don't know how receptive Vladimir Putin is to their idea of a ceasefire, but that's obviously the first thing that any Ukrainian leader would want to do right now.
You're talking about how he met Putin at the D-Day commemoration ceremonies in France.
Exactly.
In Normandy, and Poroshenko said that, listen, we're not accepting Russia's annexation of Crimea. So how does, though, Poroshenko stop Putin from seizing more of his country?
Well, as you mentioned in your intro, Poroshenko is called the Chocolate King because he runs a big chocolate company, and he's had his brush with Putin before. Vladimir Putin banned, actually, Poroshenko's chocolate from Russia last year and said that there were carcinogens in the chocolate. That was completely phony, and it was obviously a way of escalating and brushing Ukraine back and trying to warn Ukraine that they better not head more to the West and more pro-America and pro-European Union. That obviously didn't work. I mean, it worked in a way, but obviously the leader lost his head over that. So I think what President Poroshenko wants to do is show that Putin that he's got some muscle, that he can fight back, that he's not afraid to exert a little bit of power, and hopefully they can come to some sort of peace agreements shortly.
Okay, so in order to flex that muscle, Poroshenko will probably have to have some support. So does Poroshenko have a duty to send a message to European leaders as well as the U.S.? If so, what does he need to say to them?
Absolutely. He needs to say that he wants to work with the West, that he wants to be pro-European Union and pro-American. And already he's had a little bit of help. The Canadian Prime Minister was there today for the inauguration, and so was the American Vice President, Joe Biden. Of course, it would have been better had President Obama showed a sign and himself had gone there. He was already in France yesterday for the D-Day celebration. It's just a short flight over to Kiev. He could have stopped by and wished him well, wished him support, and said that we've got your back as you continue to fight the Russians.
So how does Poroshenko gain the trust of the people of Ukraine to say that I've got this?
Well, since they have some idea who he is, he's not exactly a stranger, so he needs to continue to do what he pledged to do, continue to stand up to Russia. Don't be intimidated, even if they start, even as they hike the price of gas, even as they levy economic sanctions on Ukraine, he will have to step back, fight back, basically.
So will Putin continue with whatever it is that he has up his sleeves?
Sure. I mean, Putin's a thug, and Putin's not one to back off too lightly. He wants to maintain unrest there. He wants them not to move to the West. He wants to do everything that he can to continue the unsettlement, and he wants to maintain Crimea and perhaps more of Ukraine.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out with new leader there in Ukraine, in Poroshenko. Okay, Daniel Halper, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And a Fox News alert: Walmart